Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34, coming back with a quick little mail day video today. I was very pleasantly surprised when I got the mail recently and had a envelope from Ed from Angry Old Man. He's got a great channel. I've mentioned him before. I'm sure a lot of you, if you watch my channel, are probably very familiar with him as well. But I will include a link to his web channel, his YouTube channel, just in case you haven't checked it out yet. He's been making videos for over 2 years. He has a super impressive collection of autographs and memorabilia. In fact, even before he even starts his videos to show you what he's got, just the background of his videos is impressive. If you take a look at the walls and everything that's displayed on that. So I did want to give a quick shout out. Congratulations to Devin Lloyd, who played his college ball here in my home state of Utah. He was just named the NFL's Defensive Player of the Month for the rookies. So the Rookie Defensive Player of the Month with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very happy to see that. He's having a really great start to his season. Okay, so I have two quick little eBay pickups, and then I'll open up Ed's RAK, Random Act of Kindness. And then I do have this Beckett magazine from July of '93. If you followed my channel, I've been around for over 2 years myself, and I mentioned it in a video a long time ago, but I think most of my viewers now probably weren't around back then. There was just a really interesting make-believe prediction, whatever you want to call it, that I thought was pretty crazy how accurate and dead on it was. So I'm going to show that to you guys afterwards, so stay tuned because it's quite interesting. Alright, so one card that I got in the mail. This is a 1996 Leaf Grassroots, and if you notice here, this is Barry Sanders. It actually has kind of like a grassy turf feel to the card. I'm not sure if that really picks up all the way, but it has that kind of turf feel to it. And these are serial numbered, so this is 1553 out of 5,000, as you can see right there. Really nice looking card. So I was very happy to get that one, and a good deal on it, I thought, as well. And then my other pickup, these were from 1991. ProSet had this, and I think they came in sheets with, I don't know, like 9 cards or something to that effect. But these were called Cinderella stories. They're very rare, and I didn't even know they existed. I accidentally came upon them recently. And I saw this one for Dan Hampton, and I wanted to make sure to try to get this for my collection, and I'm really happy I was able to. They have one of Rocky Bleier. They have a Tampa Bay Buccaneers one. There's some other really cool ones as well. And I wanted, obviously, this one because of its connection to the Chicago Bears. I will tell you guys, though, I had picked up just a handful of cards. This was the most expensive. This was like somewhere between $8 and $10. But I had purchased a bunch of little eBay pickups recently, and like I said, each of the cards was under $10, so nothing major in there. But anyway, I had ordered 11 different cards from 11 different buyers, and it notified me that all 11 of those cards had been delivered to my house, and they weren't there, and they weren't there the next day or the next day or the next day, and I was getting pretty nervous just because even though it wasn't a ton of money, it was some money and it was a lot of cards, and I just worried about the hassle. Turns out all 11 packages were delivered to the wrong address, and luckily a neighbor brought those over, so it's all in my possession now. But those are kind of those little, kind of scary moments when you purchase things online. Luckily they all arrived here. So here's the Cinderella moment for Dan Hampton. So I'll just read this to you. A great story, and here's a picture of that moment right there. Ultimate Survivor walks off field after playing final home game in Bears uniform. 1990, first round playoff contest against Saints. Excelled in 12 NFL seasons despite toll of 10 knee operations. One of only 2 players in Bears' storied history to play in 3 different decades. Sid Luckman was the other. Member of Pro Football Hall of Fame's NFL team of the 80s, named to NFC Pro Bowl team 4 times during that decade. Started 15 regular season games for Bears, dominating Super Bowl champions of 1985. Injured knee in second game of 1989 season, but played rest of game and following 2 games before undergoing 5th arthroscopic surgery on left knee. Month later, had 5th surgery on right knee, so he'd be able to play 1 more season in 1990. You know, Dan Hampton, the Danimal, just an excellent player, really put it all out there for love of the game. You know, he just loved the game, loved the sport, loved his team, loved Chicago. And, you know, it just shows the toughness and grit of players like him. You know, and they're still out there in the NFL. I see them, and I'm usually a huge fan of them because I think they're much less common than they were back in these days. And so when I see them, when I spot them, I become a big fan, whether they're a Bear or not. So anyway, just loved getting that card, especially since I never knew it existed. All right, so we'll move Mr. E.T. into the background. I have no idea what this is. This was a very pleasant surprise. So Ed, thank you very much. You really didn't need to do this. I definitely appreciate it though. So let's go ahead and see what we've got. All right, one thing we have here is a note. All right. Hi, Brian. I had this card for a while and thought that you might like it since it was inscribed to Brian. Okay, that's interesting. Keep the great videos coming. Stay safe. All the best, Ed, Angry Old Man. Well, I'm excited to see what this card is. And it's kind of nice to have a personalized inscription already on it. So that's very cool. All right. Here we go. Ooh. We've got a basketball card here. Let's take a look. Oh, that's awesome. Steve Alford, NBA Hoops, right there. Brian, God's blessing, Steve Alford. Very, very cool. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And how great that it's got the personalization right there, too. Steve Alford, awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah, he had such a great career at Indiana. Just look at that. Excellent. Wow, well, thank you very much. That is super. Thank you so much, Ed. I really appreciate that. And you know what I'm going to do in keeping with this basketball theme right here, now that I've got that to the collection? I found this recently. I was just kind of rummaging through some of my old stuff, and I found this right here. This is a Utah Jazz versus Orlando Magic basketball game from February of 1993 that I attended. And so you see here it's got the players who were on the team: Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Malone, Ty Corbin, who went on to coach the Jazz for a little bit, the late Mark Eaton, and Larry Kristoyak, who was the coach of University of Utah basketball for a long time right there. And then the Orlando Magic. And you'll see there, and I remember this game very well, Shaquille O'Neal right there. Steve Kerr as a backup, some other players here. So anyway, that was just a really cool to be able to find this. I'm surprised I kept it. Maybe I shouldn't be. I kept a lot of stuff back then, but anyway. And then on the back, kind of talks about stats and averages for the Utah Jazz. Pretty cool. So anyway, I found that and thought I'd show that. Okay, so last thing here, and Ed, once again, thank you very much. That's awesome. That's going to go really nicely in my autograph collection. All right, so right here, this is the Beckett Football Card Monthly from July of 1993. Okay, so this is quite a ways ago, right? So one of the articles that they had in here, they did this thing called Hall of Fame 2000. And they kind of take a pick of like who they think is going to go to the Hall of Fame. And so they put in here, you know, the different years and all of that. What I thought was really interesting, though, so check this one out. And like I said, I mentioned this in a video a long time ago. So if you've been following my channel for the last couple years, you may have seen this already, but I just wanted to show this again because I thought it was so interesting. So right here, class of 2004, Barry Sanders. And look what it says. Hobbyists and fan used a letter-writing campaign urging Sanders to continue his pursuit of Walter Payton's NFL career rushing record, but Barry had grown disinterested in the game and retired following the 1998 season. After 10 seasons, Sanders' 14,631 yards put him past Tony Dorsett into second place on the all-time list, only to be passed up by Emmitt Smith a season later. So what's amazing and impressive about that to me is the fact that Barry Sanders did basically become disinterested to some extent and retired from the game after the 1998 season, coming up just short of Walter's all-time record. He actually retired with more than he had over 15,000 yards, but that's pretty spot on. And then to mention that Emmitt Smith would then later pass him. And we're going all the way back to 1993. I mean, Emmitt Smith had only been playing for, 3 seasons at that point and 4 for Barry prior to that season. So I just thought that was very interesting that, and they were off on some other things, but that was pretty impressive that they were able to get so close to predicting that all those years earlier, and very similar to what really took place. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I got a kick out of that when I read that years later. So anyway, thank you again, Ed, for the great auto. I'm very excited to have that. I'm very excited that Devin Lloyd was the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm very excited that Dan Hampton was a Chicago Bear. And in keeping with that story on Barry, very happy to add another one of these, not another one, but adding another great Barry Sanders card to the PC because I'm a big fan of his. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hope everybody is doing well. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will be back with more videos in the near future.